So getting a scan, and Google is not your friend. That's the other thing. So getting a scan and there's no heartbeat is like the most traumatizing thing well, for me, that I'd ever gone through. And I remember my friend Yvonne, actually, she came down to the hospital. And yeah, seeing your baby, who's not really a baby, was, very, very difficult.
Yeah. And it happens more often than people think.
Yeah.
I've seen it, I've experienced it.
Oh, you've seen it as well.
Yeah. Like my best friend at the time, she was 9 months.
Jeez.
Yeah. So very similar situation.
Yeah.
And you got to give birth to the child. And I don't think people, it's that part.
It's that part.
Yeah, you've got to physically, and there's no baby trying to help. Like you've got to physically do it yourself.
Yeah.
And then you don't have the bundle of joy at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for all of this, like especially now being a mum, like for all of this, like when you have the child, it's like, okay, the pain, all the tears, the lack, it's hard. But you get the bundle of joy at the end and you get to take the baby home.
Yeah.
But you go through all of that and then it's like,
go home. No,
go home.
That's
and
literally
then,
what it was like. It's home time.
That's it. And then all the stuff, your preparation, all the stuff is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
remember, I'd given birth on the day of my uncle's funeral. And it was, like I said, I was wayward. So my mum already told me, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah, you're moving mad, basically. And so I couldn't even tell her where I was.
Went through it by yourself.
No, yeah. So one of my friends was there, and my other friends, they supported me, etc. But I hadn't told her what had happened. I know one of them had called her, but it was like, I feel so guilty now when I think about it as well, because she's at her brother's funeral. She's getting a phone call that her daughter's in hospital. So by the time she's got there, even later on, it's like everything's kind of happened.
Yeah.
So it was,
must have been hard.
Awful time.
And then obviously being young as well, like you don't even know, you probably don't
21
not
is a young
process.
age to you don't really process things at that age. You don't even know how to process your feelings properly.
Come on, even as a grown ass woman,
exactly,
now,
you don't even know exactly. You just try to block it out.
Yeah.
So my reaction from that was, okay, cool. Now I'm just gonna rave, serial date, and that was like the reaction to it.
And this trauma, I think sometimes when people look from the outside, they think, oh, how you doing with that?
And that's the thing, like, this girl's just out 2 weeks later, whatever. No. But the trauma, I will say, I didn't process my trauma until, probably still processing it, probably even now. And like I was saying, I'm like discovering myself again, getting to know myself. Fasting at the moment is giving me a whole lot more clarity. But yeah, and therapy gives you a lot more clarity as well. But yeah, I don't think I even really processed it until probably even recently. Like, and then looking at your children, sometimes it's like, oh, like, you could have a sibling. You could have had a even though I know it wasn't the best situation to be in, it's
still a loss. I was gonna say, sometimes it's a loss. It's a loss, and people are like, oh, but how are you mourning for something you didn't have? Like, it was growing in me.
Like, people said that.
Look, the amount of things, like, yeah. And then, like, people, then it's...
Or it's like a get over it as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit like, oh, but you know, the situation wasn't a good situation, so it wasn't meant for you.
Oh, you got 2, you got 3, you got, you should be all right.
I know. And I think I started to tell myself that as well. A bit like, oh, do you know what? you've got a good, like, you've got a husband, you've got
Two kids, nice nuclear
you're such an amazing
family.
dad.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it well.
Yeah.
I know it well. But yeah, I think just for women that are watching, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Give
Grace.
yourself grace. It's okay to feel the grief of the loss. It's totally normal. I like that you spoke about therapy. I feel, one, in our community, we don't really do therapy because you're airing your dirty laundry.
Yeah.
You must shut your mouth.
You say, yeah, don't tell no one your business.
Don't tell your business. You talk too much. Stop talking. But I think therapy is definitely a way to unpack some of that, because it is a loss, and you might not see it at the time, you might not feel it at the time, but as time goes on and, you know, things happen, you start reflecting on it. We compartmentalize a lot. You think, oh, park that away, it's fine, I've moved on, I'm good, my life is good, I've got this, that and the other. But at some point that will come to surface.
And it licks you.
Yeah.
It's like you push all these things into a box.
Yeah.
And then, because that's one element of it. And then you're pushing all these other things. As soon as the box lid can't close, and all of a sudden it's just, you're like jacking a box, and you're like, oh,
too much.
This hurt me. Oh, that person's not moving right. Oh. It's like, it's actually wild.
Way too much.
But I will say, having like the friends that I have, so two of my best friends, they were incredible. And they were young as well. So their way as well was like, come, let's go out or whatever.
Yeah,
And
they're just trying to lift you up.
It did help at that.
Yeah.
It really did help at that time.
Yeah.
Nadia and Melissa, two best friends. They my made up honors. Yeah, they really helped.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of just getting on.
Yeah.
But it's me, you know, when you keep saying the word, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, and then it starts getting faint, like, I'm okay, I'm not okay, I'm not okay. Yeah.
And then it's just like,
yeah. And I didn't realize that it depreciated my confidence over time. So I wasn't confident to like talk and sing or in front of people. And I'm still trying to build that back up.
No, you have it. I can see it. You glow.
Oh.
Not like a bronzer glow.
Yeah.
You glow. You have such a nice energy about you. And it's hard to find. So it's even now that we're speaking, like, I thought we had a good conversation on the way here.
Already.
I'm like, what? There's even more stuff.
Do you want to tell them about the journey on the way here? Because that was a 2.5 hour
trauma.